Hi guys, welcome back. Today I modeled my look and vibe after the rock, of course. Who other? Fun fact, that photo was actually taken in Calgary. But anyways, today we're going to be filming a full face of Makeup Forever. I'm really interested to see what a full face of Makeup Forever looks like, just because they're a brand I often forget about, which is odd because they have really phenomenal formulas. So I'm excited to see how they play together and what the outcome is going to look like. So before we discover that, I would love for you to subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into it. So I'm going to start off with a product I know I already love, which is the HD Skin Foundation, and I'm going to be using the shade 1N10. And this is a foundation you have to make sure to shake, and I feel like the more you shake it, the better it looks, so whip it up. Okay, I think that's good. And I'm going to be using my MAC 170 brush to apply that today. I was kind of thinking about it when I was putting together this video this morning. I think Makeup Forever was the first brand I actually really fell in love with when I was first getting into makeup, oddly enough, because I think I was like in 7th or 8th grade. I remember every time we went to the mall, I would just beam for the Makeup Forever section just because they had that really fun area. It was like all these super colorful eyeshadows that no other brands had, and they also had these really wacky and fun eyelashes. Like there was like feathery ones, there was yellow ones and pink ones, and I was always really attracted to that area. And my first ever purchase from Sephora was a Makeup Forever product. And I still have it. I thought I had gotten rid of it, but I have it. I found it. It's this neon pink blush. Out of all of the things in Sephora at the time, this is what I went for, and I wore this all the time. Not just on my cheeks, but on my eyes. Oh my goodness, I wore it all the time. And I kind of can't believe I still have it. I don't know if it's okay to put on my eyes because it's definitely over 10 years old, I think. I have to do the math on that real quick. Yeah, it's old. It's really old. I would maybe use it on my cheeks as a blush, but it's not going anywhere in my eyes. I just like to look at it. But talking about this foundation, I feel like it's a really good one to fall back on, and it's a fantastic formula that I believe would work really well on anybody's skin type. This was actually like the original HD Skin Foundation was the foundation I had in my makeup artist kit when I was still working makeup artist, just because it was so flexible. You can easily make it more dewy or matte. It just has that perfect in-between texture that's easy to customize. And also you can apply a really sheer amount or a very full coverage amount. It's so adjustable and fantastic. And as always, I'm just gonna pass it over with my damp beauty blender just to make sure everything's super smooth. So you can see the finish now. You can see it does have like a natural skin-like finish, but you can see that it would be easy to either mattify it or dewify it. Moving on, I don't have a concealer. Well, I do, but it's in this little palette, which is super fun. I'm going to be using this for a lot of my steps today. It's like a full face palette in one little thing. So you get foundations and concealers, color correctors, blushes, contours, bronzers, and highlighters all in one thing. I gave this kind of a half-assed try a couple months ago, and I knew I wanted to film this video, so I wanted to keep my impressions for this video, but I didn't really love the texture the first time I used it, but I didn't give it the best chance. I found it to be a little bit greasy feeling, but we shall see. I'm gonna use this peachy one here to color correct my inner corners, and then I'll use one of these to conceal. Usually I would color correct underneath my foundation. I just forgot there was a perfect peachy one in here. I feel like the blueness in this area here has been worsening, but this is really helping. And whenever you're color correcting, make sure to remember that you're going to be going in with concealer afterwards, so you don't have to really pack it on. You can just use the tiny amount, and it's more effective that way as well. Now I'm going to conceal with, I think, this shade here. I might mix in a little bit of that one. And I'm just going to continue melting that in with my fingertip, because I feel like it's doing a really good job. Go finger. Okay, my under eyes look really good. It completely made my under eyes look like a blank slate, like perfect. I dig that. That turned out really nice. I feel like it almost smoothed my under eyes too. Not only did it correct it, but it just looks really nice and even. So I'm going to put this to the side for right now. I'm now going to be using this powder, which unfortunately is shattered, but I'm going to do my best. I've never tried it. This is the Ultra HD Micro Finishing Pressed Powder, and I have the shade 1. And I'm just going to use this under my eyes. I feel like this is going to be like one of those nice blurring powders. I'm scared to open this because I know it's so shattered. It's gonna make a mess. See, this is what it looks like. This is the powder I'm going to be using all over my face today. They do have like the HD Skin powder, which I decluttered in my last decluttering series, just because I found that it didn't do much for my oily skin. It like set it, but my makeup wouldn't act set, if that made any sense. It would move around a little bit and I felt like it could look cakey sometimes. So it wasn't made for me. So I got rid of it. But this one looks really nice. I feel like my base is super perfected. Okay, so here's where we're at. Now I'm going to bronze and contour. And I also have this fun little quad here. It has a highlighter, well, a matte highlighter, a contour, a glowy highlighter, and a blush. This shade in this palette is much better suited for a contour for me. These ones in here seem to be pretty warm or too dark for me. So I'm gonna hop around here and have fun. I'm going to do like what I used to do when I was a working makeup artist. I would scoop a little bit of the product onto a palette, and then I would take a little brush and daintily apply a little bit on whoever. Ooh, I feel like that's gonna be a little bit dark, but that's okay. I can fix it. And I'm going to blend it out with my Moda blending fan. I realistically would have just applied one at a time. Right now I'm blending both colors together, but I wanted to get the show on the road. Ooh, that looks really lovely. It's not too dark. That is gorgeous. I really liked that texture for bronzing and contour formulas. That was really fun to work with. And I feel like it gave such a subtle look. It looks really, really nice. I kind of want to amp up the contour. So I'm just gonna do a little bit right here. And I'm just gonna stamp that out. Nice. I really like that actually. So I'm not going to do any like matte highlighting at all. I'm just gonna go straight into the highlighter that's in here. They also have like a liquid highlighter that I used to be completely in love with. It's beautiful. I completely finished the whole thing too. It's something I would actually like to rediscover or retry. I'm just remembering it now. I just had a nice little flashback. But this highlighter smells the same as that liquid one. I think that's what brought it back. I whiffed it. I sniffed it. I sniffed it. It smells like spices. It's so nice. I'm just gonna pat that on to my cheekbones here. Oh, this is so fun to work with this type of product again, this kind of a layout. It's really taking me back to makeup school and when I was a working makeup artist. It's really fun. And this is the most perfect brand to do so. They have so many products that cater to working makeup artists. I was gonna just put some right here. I don't know why, but I'm feeling compelled to do so. That is a really pretty highlighter. There are a few bigger specks in it that I'm not super loving, but overall it does look really nice and flattering. I'm loving the makeup with like the slick bun. I feel so profesh right now. So now for blush, I have a couple options in here. I don't have any of the powder blushes anymore aside from the neon pink one, which we'll see if I add that on in the end. I don't know though. So these are the 3 blushes I have in here. So let's give them a little swatch. There's like a pinky one and a corally one in this palette. I wish there was more differentiation in between the two. Let me see if I can kind of custom make color if I wanted to. If you wanted to, you can add some of the bronzing colors into the blush to create more of a terracotta color. I just added a little bit in there. You can see it adjusts it a little bit. Let's see what this one looks like. I feel like those look exactly the same, all of them. Pink or coral, pink or coral. I'm going to go for the coral one because I feel like I've been using a lot of pinky blushes And this is a Pat McGrath brush. It doesn't have a name. This blush is going on really well, but it feels, this is the product I used before from here, and it does feel a little bit greasy, and I remember it kind of fading throughout the day really quickly, but it is really pretty. But I've seen this formula many times before. Nice. And before I pop off to do my brows, I'm just going to revisit my setting powder here. We'll see what this looks like scattered around my face. Oh wow. Okay, here, this is this side unset. Set. I feel like that makes a really dramatic difference. Lovely. I think my base looks fantastic. What do you guys think? Okay, I'm going to pop off to do the brows, so please enjoy the brow intermission. I actually forgot I had this product from Makeup Forever. This is the Aqua Resist Brow Fixer, and I have the wrong shade for my brows right now, but I'm going to use it anyways. It's the shade 40 Medium Brown, but I filled in my brows with my Auburn pencil from Kosas, and now I'm going to be using this. It's very similar to like the M Cosmetics brow product I was obsessed with for years, but I find that this one makes for a really natural effect. It just defines your hairs and places them without really thickening them too much, like volume wise, but it makes your brows look thicker just because they're darker. I feel like Makeup Forever, they're really good at creating products that are going to work for you. You know, they're not going to fall into like the gimmicky makeup trends or follow trends. They just create products that are going to get the job done and work and look flawless. It feels all very professional. So there's the brows. I did prime with the Fenty Beauty eye primer. I'm just going to set my upper lid with the powder from crease to brow. This helps to make your transition shade super diffused, and you don't have to work for it that hard. And the eyeshadow palette I have today is 001 Ginger. So this is what the palette looks like. You also get this huge highlighter that you can use on your cheeks as well, which I might add a little bit of right now, because why not? It might be a little bit dark actually. I'm going to forego that because it's going to be a little too dark. I don't want to ruin it. I feel like my skin is looking good. Okay, so what do I want to do for my eyes? Might have to brew on that for a second. Okay, this is what we're going to be doing just because I have so many things to use. So I'm going to start off with the eyeshadow palette here, and their eyeshadow formula has never been like a super favorite of mine, but it works. So I'm using this shade right here, which you'll see it looks like a perfect kind of neutrally color, but when I put it on my eye, it becomes super warm. And I've always found that their eyeshadows always translate differently on skin than in the palette. So it's always why I never really reached for them, even when I had a huge selection of them as a working artist. They do blend out really easily. The formula is top notch. It's just like the colors that are a little bit weird. I've never ever reached for them. But I started off with that color, and I also took that same color on a smaller brush just to get a more concentrated amount of that. And then I took a smaller brush with this kind of reddy brown, and then I kind of sketched out a wing. I was gonna do like a super soft look again, but I remembered I had some eyeliners to try out today. So this was just like a nice little sketch to follow along. But I did end up taking this brush with a tiny amount of that, and I carried it upwards to get a more softened, diffused look. And then moving on to some of my top favorite products from Makeup Forever. These are the Starlit Diamond Powders, which I have all over my lid here. I mixed two of them today just to have fun. I used the shade 106, which is the green reflect, and 101, which is like a nice white silvery reflect. These are so fun to use. So there's the green one and the silvery one. They're so, so gorgeous. I've had these for years and I use them still. I like to dampen a brush. I'm using this Smith 253 just with some setting spray. I'm using this MAC one. Then I pick up some of the glitter. I just usually take whatever is left in the cap. And then I'm going to start patting it along, starting right on my lid here because this is where I want the most. And then I'm going to scatter them as I go up. And if you need help with the scattering, just take your big brush and just slightly blend, because it can be hard to scatter them accurately or nicely with a dampened brush. It's nice to just flick them around the fluffy one. And then with my finger, I took the silvery reflex and just pressed it in. Moving upward once I know I don't have that many left, just to get some like on the brow bone, which I would recommend using these maybe before you do your whole base. I kind of forgot I was going to use these glitters, so I did the base first. But yeah, I'm gonna have a few glitters on my face, but that's fine. And now I'm going to be using their liquid liner, which is the Aqua Resist Color Ink, and I'm going to be using the shade 02 Matte Wood. And they have a whole variety of colors in these. I just have the basics, a brown, a black, and a white. And I'm going to follow that nice sketch we left. And I don't know what it is about these kind of eyeliners. I always have the urge to kind of tug at my skin to do like a straight line. I think it's just from doing makeup in high school, you know? Like it was just part of my everyday routine. I'm gonna do it for the throwbacks. Don't yell at me in the comments, I never do this anymore. Yeah. Oh God, I'm kind of sucking at this. You guys are making me nervous. I'm also going to do the inner corner flick. Oh. Oh dear. Fret not. We can fix. Just going to take some of the concealer shade with a flat brush. And we're going to fix it to make it look like I have the most accurate surgeon hands in the world. I really like it. It was actually a good thing because I like how it kind of highlighted that area too. So I'm gonna do that on this side as well. Cleans up the overblend. And when you're cleaning up with a flat brush, make sure to wipe in between strokes so you don't carry that brown everywhere. Nice, and then the last thing I did, I added that first shade we went in with. Just a touch of it on the lower lash line, just a little bit. We have one more step for the eyes, which is mascara, and this is one of my top favorite mascaras. This is the Professionall mascara, and it's a dual-ended one, which is so fun. So on this side, you get this really tiny little brush, which I love to go in with for no makeup looks, just to subtly define them. And on the other side, you get this wand, which I love to build false lash effect vibes with. And of course you can have fun and experiment with it and create your own lash look. On the bottle itself, it does say step 1 and step 2, but feel free to have fun with it. They also advertise to customize your own routine. I'm going to go in with step 2 first. And if I need to brush out any clumps or place any other lashes, I'll use the other side. And this mascara is phenomenal. I love this wand because it's nice and tapered and it comes to a nice point, so it's really easy to get into all of your lashes. It's also very volumizing and lengthening, and it doesn't smudge or crumble, nor does it smudge on my lower lashes. It's one of the only mascaras that's not a tubing one that doesn't smudge on my lower lashes. So here's one good coat, and you can see how much volume there is at the base, but it still makes my lashes look really flattering and cute. I'm going to be pointing a lot of my lashes outwards just for the wing. And then I'm going to use step 1 to get a nice accurate application on my lower lashes. I've tried almost all of their mascaras. They have a variety, but this one is definitely my favorite. And here we are. Here are the eyes all finished. I love a good green reflect. It's always so fun. I feel like there's like a perfect line of glitter right here. I don't know how that happened, but she's gone. Now here's the final look. Now moving on to lips. These are my top favorite products from Makeup Forever. These are the Artist Color Pencils. I use these nearly every day. I reach for them all the time. They're constantly in my rotation. So this is the collection I have. The top row here are the shades I go in with the most often, and these ones I just have and use here and there when they fit the look. So up here we have Full Scale Rust, Up and Down Tan, Wherever Walnut, and Anywhere Caffeine. And down here we have Universal Earth, which is so beautiful. We have Total Taupe, we have Versatile Chestnut, and then the red one is Either Cherry, and the last is Boundless Berry. They're so stunning. I love this formula because it stands out compared to the other ones I have in my collection. They feel very powdery, but they can offer you a couple different looks. They can look really blurred if you're going for like a more natural effect, or you can use them to create a really sharp lip line. They will just do whatever you need them to do. And these are fun because you can also use them on the eyes. I kind of forgot about that for today. I had a lot of stuff to use on my eyes today, so another day I'll use these fun shades. Imagine a look with Universal Earth on the eye. I think that will be so pretty. I just came up with a whole look in my brain. I'm gonna have to do that. So I'm going to be going in with one of those, but first I'm going to pick a lip color. So these are the Rouge Artist Forever Mattes. I have these 3 shades pulled out here. I have more in my collection, but I think one of these is gonna work lovely. Maybe this one. I think this will work the best with the blush we chose, which is the shade Rose Now and Always. And I'm going to put that over top of my nipple cream, which I use as my lip balm because my lips are way too dry to withstand a liquid lipstick today. I can't. So there's the color of that lipstick. I think that's going to be lovely. Now to pick a lip liner, I feel like this shade or this shade would work really well. Or if we wanted to do something more dramatic, this would look cool on the outskirts. I'm really drawn to Universal Earth right now. I just want to see what it looks like with that shade. Now going in with a bit of this liquid lipstick. I don't think it's for this look. No, it's not at all, but I wanted to see the combo. I'm going to go for Up and Down Tan. Just going to take a little bit of my nip cream. And I'm just going to use a little bit of this, just to tint it. And there we are, the finished look. I just almost went to take down my hair, but that's not gonna happen today. This is the hair look. And here is the finished final look. What do you guys think? I love this look. It's bringing me back to one of my most favorite looks I've created. It's still up on my Instagram. It was years ago, but I think I created it with my Pat McGrath Mothership 5 palette. It's just the same kind of tones and it's making me really happy. So now I'm going to give you my 2 cents on each product, and then at the end I'm going to give you my top recommended from the brand. So first, starting off with the HD Skin Foundation. I think this is a wonderful foundation. I love how adjustable it is, and it's one I fall back on quite often. I just love how you can make it dewy or matte very easily, and it wears incredibly as well. It's solid. It's just a solid foundation. I highly recommend it. Next, moving on to the all-in-one face palette. I know they came out with 2 of them. One of them is for darker skin tones. I have a few things to critique on this palette. I feel like I should be way more excited about this than I actually am, just because it has everything to create your base, but for some reason there's things that are missing for me. The foundations are way too close in tone, so I wouldn't be able to really use this all year round. I wish one of them was a bit deeper, just so I can mix and create my own foundation shade. And I don't think that this is for the everyday consumer. I feel like you really need to have a lot of makeup knowledge to use this, and knowledge on your own skin tone. I think this is better suited for makeup artists. I feel like there's not many people who are going to get good use out of this, and I find that these 2 shades are also very, very similar. I wish one of them was more of a shadow tone and one was lighter, because these are just way too close, and I wish the blush selection was different as well. I think this is really nice. I do find that some of the formulas feel a little bit greasy, but they still really just work. They work well. My skin looks flawless. There's just a lot of knowledge you have to know previous to using this palette. I don't know how much I'll be using this one. We'll see. I think only time will tell on that. There's just a few things I wish were different in here. Moving on to the setting powder, I feel really sad that this one's shattered, but that's not going to stop me from using it. I think this was awesome. It does remind me of a lot of favorite powders of mine. I love pressed translucent powders. They always just create such a blurred effect, and I love how they won't add like another tint to your concealer or anywhere, so it's never going to darken up your base. It's just a nice one to turn back on. I feel like this one is quite promising. Is it my favorite? No, it's too soon to tell, but we'll see, we'll see, we'll see. For the eyeshadow palette, I think this one is a no for me. I was never really a fan of their eyeshadows. I think this one will just kind of go forgotten. The shadow formula itself is really nice and easy to blend, but you can find that with most brands now. Most brands have caught up. There hasn't been like an eyeshadow palette that has been a super flop in such a long time. I feel like this feels like any other shadow palette to me. Of course, you can buy the singles themselves, so if you see one that you really like, go ahead, but for the actual like built palettes, I don't really enjoy them. But again, that's just my personal preference. You might feel the complete opposite. Eyeshadow palettes are difficult because it's definitely just based on preference these days and not so much formula. The one thing I will say about the mattes from Makeup Forever, I feel like they always translate differently on skin, like I mentioned earlier in the video. So that one for me is not a top recommended product. It's just not my favorite. On the other hand, the Starlit Diamond Powders. These are incredible and so fun to work with. I've had these for years and years and years, and I still have a ton of product. They just add so much, and if you are a sparkle, glittery person, you're going to adore these. Really awesome. They have so much dimension. They also have a few different sizes of glitter in there, so they just sparkle differently. And for these eyeliners, I don't really go towards these type of eyeliners anymore. I feel like they feel very old, I guess, but these ones are pretty good. The little felt tip applicator in here is nice and stiff, and it comes to a really nice point, because sometimes they kind of end bluntly, but this one has a nice point, so it creates a really nice sharp line, and it's stiff enough so that the product follows through, but it's soft enough that it doesn't skip. So this is a good formula, and I also really enjoy how matte these dry down to. There's not a sheen to be seen, which can be a little bit rare when it comes to liquid liners, but I admire that a lot. And we'll see how it wears in my inner corner here. I've never worn it there, so we'll see if it lasts up and holds up. Oh, I skipped over this little palette, but I feel kind of the same for this, but this is, I guess, a little bit more versatile. I feel like I'm doing a makeup review in like 2015 with all of these like cream contour palettes and such. I like this one. I don't know how much I'll use it. We shall see, but it's the exact same formula as is in here. Moving on to the mascara. Completely adore this. I feel like I don't really need to rave about this anymore. I've been raving about this for months on my channel here, and I just love the effect it gives my lashes every single time. Same for the lip liners. Totally recommend these. These are so good. And same with the liquid lipsticks. These are awesome. If you are a liquid lipstick person, you're going to really enjoy this because it feels different than other brands. It has like a powdery feel. It feels very velvety and soft, and it doesn't feel heavy or cracky on your lips either. It's super comfortable, but I never really wear them as a full-on matte. I usually alter them like I did today with a little bit of a balm or gloss just to make them my desired look, but they're awesome for liquid lipsticks. So now I'm going to give you my top recommended, which you probably could decipher through my little review here. So my little list of top recommended would be the foundation, the mascara, the lip liners, the Starlit Diamond Powders, and the lipsticks. Those are all of my top favorite products I have from Makeup Forever. But that's going to conclude today's full face of Makeup Forever. I really hope you enjoyed today's video and found it helpful. If you did, please give this video a like. I will, of course, make sure to link and list everything in the description down below just to make it easier for you all. So please feel free to check that out. I appreciate you all very much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.